Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Good evening, Zambia, and good afternoon, Calgary. So here in Calgary, it's a holiday today. So it's a holiday across Canada and parts of the United States. I think um, all of the US, it's Labor Day. So it appears like Canada and the US are the only two countries that have Labor Day on the wrong date. We're supposed to be having it all on May 1st, but apparently not for Canada and not for the US. So instead of having Labor Day on correct dates, I think we have it in September. So today is a holiday. I'm not at my office. I'm at the home office. So I thought, as I'm working from here, why not go live and discuss some of the things that are coming up in Zambia, because we talk about Zambia a lot. We have to. So I do understand that the Zambian Kwacha, if you want to get in touch with me here and be part of this discussion, there is a link there. And then right on the comments, you can ask me any question, and then we will try to answer as much as possible. Okay, so we're going to see how that goes. My name is Elias Munsha. And so coming live to you from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is part of Zambia. One Zambia, one nation. Anyway, that's where we are coming from. I'm coming on live on my Facebook page, on our verified Facebook page. So please make sure that you like and you share the link. I'm also coming live on YouTube. And so make sure that you at least subscribe to like us on YouTube. Very important, because we are trying to get as many subscribers as possible on YouTube, because we believe that we have to be on YouTube because we are bringing very good content to everyone. So we are going to see how that works. So happy Labor Day to the people in Canada and America and several other places. Anyway, happy Labor Day. So here we are. Now, there's been a very topical issue, and I was on Movie TV. Finally, I got to have access to Movie TV because they were not talking to me, But anyway, they finally did. And I was talking to Andrew Mwansa 2 days ago on Movie TV, and I did share a few ideas about what I thought is what is going on across Zambia. So that was, I think, very good. And so Nalero Toaleta. Today we are going to have a little lighter discussion, because for the past few days, for the past few appearances, we were trying to be as serious and appear as professional as possible. Not anymore. This is your program. This is your discussion. This is your live discussion. And so I want to hear your views about some of the things that are going on. And as usual, we're going to mix it up with a little bit of Bemba. Now, I'm not going to use some of the Bemba that I used in one of the broadcasts. It got me in trouble, you see? It got me in big trouble. Suddenly, I got text messages from people saying, you are a reverend, you are not supposed to say that. So as a reverend, I'm not supposed to use the kind of language that I used in one of the broadcasts. So I'm not going to use that language anymore. No. I'll use another way of expressing things. And I'm just not going to say it as it is, But anyway, if it becomes too much and we need to use a little bit of Bemba to emphasize a point, we are going to use it. But I'm definitely not going to use that kind of Bemba I had used the other day. Anyway, the issue that is happening at the moment, Parliament is resuming this week, and it so happens that this week is my birthday. So anyway, Parliament is resuming this week, and guess what? Butane is still on the agenda. So Justice Minister says that he's bringing Butane back to discussion in Parliament. They apparently believe that they're going to pass it. Simple, they do not have the numbers. The Patriotic Front government does not have the numbers to pass Bill 10. So it stands no chance in Parliament. And however, we will continue talking to the people of Zambia so that we educate our people about the contents of Bill 10. The fact that Bill 10 is dangerous to our country, dangerous to our democracy, dangerous to common sense. However, these people still want to pass it. They are bent on passing Bill 10. They want it as much as possible. There is only one reason why the Patriotic Front wants Bill 10 to become law. It is because if Bill 10 becomes law, it will make it very easy for the Patriotic Front to stay in power forever. That is what it means. Forget about what they are saying about the fact that Bill 10 is aimed at helping the youth or helping the disabled or improving the number of women in Parliament. All that is not true. It is lies. The Patriotic Front government is a government of lies. It is a government of liars. So they've made up this lie that Bill 10 is going to help youths, it's going to help the disabled, or it's going to help women. There is nowhere in Bill 10 where women, the disabled, or the youth are actually mentioned. Nowhere in Bill 10 does it mention women, youths, or the disabled. Where did they bring this from? They just made it up. And the reason why they made it up is because the Patriotic Front is a party of liars. Simple. They make up things and then they believe in their minds that it is there. No, it is not there. So that is the reason. But anyway, they're trying to bring Bill 10 back, and we are going to continue talking about Bill 10. Okay. The other thing is we have noticed that the Kwacha is nosediving. The Kwacha is performing extremely badly. And so what it means with today's numbers is means $1 is now equal to 20,000 Kwacha. Now, of course, you call it 20 Kwacha, but in actual fact, the Kwacha lost the 3 zeros. It was just an accounting thing that they did. Otherwise, it's 1 Kwacha to 20,000 Kwacha. $1 to 20,000 Kwacha, which is pretty sad. It is a reflection of the mismanagement that is taking place under the Patriotic Front. It is clearly something that shows that the Patriotic Front is not a good manager of our economy. No, they're not. And so that is the reason why you see the Kwacha going down. I run a consultancy business for immigration in Zambia. So I run a business where those that are interested in considering Canadian immigration can contact me. So because of the high dollar rate, you know what? I've got to speak to my clients and my potential clients to say, this is too much. And so we've got to work together to ensure that we alleviate at least some of that. Maybe we can peg the exchange rate at a much more affordable rate. Otherwise, I'm not going to use 20 Kwacha. No, we've got to give our clients some kind of discount. So that is a little way through which we can both share in the pain of the loss of value of the Zambian Kwacha, because it's affecting all of us. It's affecting business all over, and it's extremely sad. That should not have been the case. The problem was mismanagement of the Zambian economy. That is the problem. Mismanagement of the Zambian economy. That is the one that has led to why the Kwacha is performing so poorly. Okay. Dr. Katele Kalumba on privatization. If you haven't, one of the greatest sons of Luapula, Katele Kalumba, was on TV. He's been doing some TV appearances lately after recovering from hospitalization a few weeks ago. And so it's always good to listen to him. Very, very enlightening. Those are the kind of experiences that we need going forward. And so he's got his own ideas about privatization. Katele Kalumba does share. I share his sentiments that Zambia needed to privatize. We needed to privatize. There was no question about it. In order for us to survive, in order for our economy to survive, we needed to undergo privatization. Therefore, all of you that were born in 1990 and above, you are 30 years old now. But there is a piece of history that you have not been taught. The history being that, you see, what happened in the 90s was that Zambia needed to privatize state-owned companies. By privatization, it simply means to transfer ownership of these companies from the state to private individuals, both local and foreign. That was the goal of privatization. Again, what was privatization about? It was about transfer of these state-run companies from government hands and transfer it into private hands, both local and international companies. That is what privatization was all about. So, did some local Zambians buy some companies from the government? Yes, they did. Did some foreign companies buy some foreigners buy some companies in Zambia? Yes, they did. Did a combination of Zambians and foreigners band together to buy these companies? Yes, they did. That is what happened during the 90s. And we needed to do privatization. We needed to carry out that program of privatization. The reason was these companies were making losses. Instead of these companies generating income, they became spenders of income. Instead of generating tax, these companies became tax spenders. We couldn't sustain that model. We couldn't sustain the model. It was too expensive for our country. It was not helping our economy grow. Instead, it was letting the economy go down. That's why in the 90s, we had to privatize. If anyone comes to you and tells you that we did not need to privatize, tell them they are either liars, or they are deceivers, or they have no clue about what they are talking about. Privatization, we needed to privatize. Without privatization, we would not have made the gains that we made economically as a country. When Chiluba became president in about 1990, the GDP of our country was about 6 billion. Of course, there are some disputes because sometimes they rebase GDP, about 6 billion. We grew from that 6 billion to the current 20 billion in GDP. From 1990 to the present, you can see that we have been on a growth spur. The reason why we have been growing in our GDP is because of some of the painful decisions that Chiluba, Katele Kalumba, Michael Sata, Godfrey Mianda, and Guy Scott, all these leaders made in 1990 to take the route of privatization so that our economy can then begin growing. It was a painful time, and the economy grew to where it is presently. Now, you know what is happening? Because in 2011, we elected a president who was not feeling too well. He couldn't pay attention to what was going on. So mafias, thieves, and confused characters took over. They overborrowed. All right. In 2015, we thought that now there's going to be a different trajectory to what had happened in 2011 and 2012. Honorable, His Excellency Michael Sata passed away. All right. But the same party with the new president now got into power. and they doubled whatever confusion was going on when Michael Sata was sick to where we are today, where in spite of the fact that we have been doing very well in terms of raising our GDP, we reached a point where because of mismanagement of the economy, we are going to begin declining. And our decline is not because Zambians cannot manage the economy. We are declining because the ruling Patriotic Front has no clue about how to keep an economy together. That is where the issue is. Now, because they have no clue, because they can't rule, they can't govern a country, they want now to begin blaming privatization as the reason why we are facing the current economic confusion. You see the problem? So when the Patriotic Front government tells you, as the people of Zambia, that privatization is the reason why we are declining now, say no. Tell them off. They're lying. They're lying because the Zambian GDP has been on the growth, has been growing since 1990. Due to privatization, it started growing. Under Mwanawasa, it was growing. Under Rupia Banda, it was growing. Even under Michael Sata, it was growing. And it was growing because there were some fundamentals that Mwanawasa took care of, and Chiluba as well. Okay, that's why it was growing. Now, we are facing a situation where our economy is likely to begin its decline. Now, it's not declining because of COVID. That is just an excuse. COVID just started in March. It has been on the decline from last year. The reason being that the Patriotic Front, under His Excellency Dr. Chagwa Lungu, is that they have no clue. They have no clue. And that is the reason why we are where we are today. Now, when they fail to govern, you know what they do? They say somebody else is responsible for it. And they are pointing their fingers at the privatization program. They are pointing fingers at what Chiluba did. And yet, Chiluba and his government, they did what they had to do. Very important. Very important. They had to sell all these parastatals. Now, suddenly, in 2020, President Lungu wants to take us back to the parastatal model. Can you see how confused their economic agenda is? How on earth does Zambia come out of the parastatal model, and 30 years later, you have a president who wants to return you as a country to the model that failed? So, all this time, your GDP is growing. But now, because you are a president who has no clue, you say, no, you can't control the economy. You can't build on the successes of your predecessors. Suddenly, you want to go back to a model that failed in the 70s. That is the model that they are trying to sell. For example, they are telling us that they are going to start Zambia Airways. It's going to be a state-owned airline, Zambia Airways. So, in order for them to start Zambia Airways, they must find capital. The way business is done by governments is the same all over the world. It's the same way you would do a business in Chiwempala. Pakwamba okushitisha salaola first ufurewa stashani wakwata capital. You must source it somewhere. Either somebody gives it to you or you borrow it from somewhere, and then that becomes the capital. So for them to start this Zambia Airways, they must find capital. So where are they going to get capital from? They're going to borrow. Okay? Which means then that instead of this company being a profit-making company, they're first of all going to start by borrowing. So they will borrow money in order to start an airline. Okay. When they start this airline, first of all, because it's government-owned airline, it's going to put pressure on other private airlines. For example, there is Mahogany. There is, what is the other airline we have in Zambia? Zambian Airways, or what airline is that? Proflight. So already, this government airline is going to put pressure on these private companies. In no time, you're going to see these private airlines going out of business. Why? Because the government is running airlines. That's one thing that is going to do. Secondly, the problem with the parastatal model in Zambia has always been political interference. Always. Let me remind you about something that happened just a few weeks ago. President Lungu apparently has a private initiative known as Presidential Empowerment Fund. Presidential Empowerment Fund is a fund which the president's friends, apparently, the president has some friends who give him a lot of cash. So they have given him a lot of cash. So he has nothing to do with this cash, and so he distributes it around the country. I call it corruption. So he goes to corrupt people around the country. One day, he decided that he was going to distribute this money to Mongo. So he took huge sacks of money, put them on a Zambia Air Force helicopter, and took a private citizen who is in charge of this money and flew him on a Zambia Air Force helicopter from Lusaka to Mongo. That gentleman was saluted. So they used the Zambia Air Force plane. Now, if you have an airline that is owned by the government, you know what they will do? They will use that airline. That is the one now that will be that they will be sending on political errands. That has been the problem with the parastatal model. You cannot run companies in that manner. That's exactly what is happening. So it is political interference that kills state-run businesses in Zambia. That is the model to which President Lungu wants to return the country. Okay? So Zambia Air Force, they used a government airline. They used a government soldiers to take President Lungu's money to Mongo. If Zambia Airways comes, they'll be using Zambia Airways planes to do their own private political enterprises. There was a company known as UBZ, the United Bus Company of Zambia. The same used to happen. If Kaunda is visiting Chiwempala, you know what would happen? They are going to take buses, UBZ buses, from Pamwaiseni. You see, UBZ bus irelongo kutwala abantu kwisa kukitwe. Ero nombaba ward chairman, baya senda idia bus okufuma Pamwaiseni. Baya baba driver okobati baba driver kabieni musenda abana be school okufuma patu atasha primary school. Mobatwale uko Kaunda ale tanda lalelo. So what used to happen was UBZ is a business. However, because Kenneth Kaunda is visiting, it will be taken off from Waiseni bus stop to go and ferry pupils to go and salute the head of state. As a result, UBZ could not be sustained. It could not make any profit. It went down. That was the reason why Chiluba and the MMD government had to sell it. When you sell that business, what it means then that is you are not going to be accruing liabilities on your balance sheet anymore. As a government, the money that you'll be collecting from taxes, you're going to be directing it towards healthcare, towards schools, towards roads. You are not going to be directing that money to try and keep afloat companies that are supposed to be sinking. That is what used to happen. Now, the Patriotic Front wants to lie to you that the parastatal model is the best way to run an economy. It is not. This economy was doing very well. Now, there's been a lot of suffering among our people. It was a lot of sacrifice that Zambians made, beginning from the Structural Adjustment Program to the Highly Indebted Poor Country Program, HIPIC, completion point. All these programs, they helped build our GDP to a point where now we should begin at least seeing some of those fruits manifesting in our economy, but not under President Lungu. You know what he's doing? He wants now, because he's reached a point where he can't pretend anymore. He can't govern. Tetibateke yo n'abafirwa okuteka ebwafya bulipo balungu bafirwa okuteka. nomba kyebafirwa okuteeka nomba kwamba fyo kuchiteshani ukula panta nokusabaira sana. No, I'm doing this konso okubaya ifibalanda but nga mwamwana bwino to say where are you actually driving the economy tapali until nomba ba campaign nga babo nomba bayingira mu bebere it's privatization. At balefuayo kwamba commission of inquiry into privatization, you've got to be an extremely useless president for you to agree to set up a commission of inquiry. You know, but it appears like if Fiamba under PF, fine. It's people making noise, and then before you know it, the president expresses it and says that yes, he agrees. It will be extremely painful and dangerous for this patriotic front to try and pin this confusion on the privatization program. And for some of us who sympathize with Frederick Chiluba, we are not going to take it lightly. We're not going to say, no, go ahead and soil the legacy of President Frederick Chiluba. No. Because in the 90s, I was about, 10 or 12? And so we saw the kind of effect that privatization program had on the incomes of our people. There in Chiwempala, we saw it. But it was a necessary sacrifice, such that this country started doing far much better. Now, you want to go back. Now, there isn't any huge policy reasons why the Patriotic Front wants to deal with privatization. There isn't. So there isn't anything like it's a strategic move in order to help our economy. No, it's a strategic move in order for them to pin all this privatization on one individual who is trying to run for office, known as Hakainde Hichilema. Now, how is that justifiable? Where you begin wasting human capital, human resources, you begin wasting human value and time, trying to take the entire privatization program and pin it on one individual who is running for office. Telling Okwebati, eulengele, Okwebati to be in the situation where we are in. I will not use that language anymore because vamo na bantu minati ala wiralanda parifiria fintu. So chalandepo. No mecho nderanda na bomfia mala ya mbushi. Mwali embushi. Mwaiba. Mwali embushi mwako kotanama fupayonse mwalila kumo. Ayi. Elo nomba mwasabula mala ya mbushi. Mwaya mushinga echechu kwa bati ni echechi eudide. Bako watabena Zambia, particularly the young people from the 90s, abashishibe bunefia chitike, bambe kokula sonta, uwaka yere, okwebati eudide. Smearing him. Now, how is that acceptable? I'm not saying okwebati yom kwai, I'm merely asking, dear Zambians, you help me out here. How is that acceptable? How does that help our economy? There was nothing. There may have been issues with privatization, but it helped our country be where it is today. This president must learn to govern this country, must learn to grow this economy, and stop blaming others. It is his economy. It is his policies. It is his confusion. He better own it. Efichtava ume nga walufianya wachita fesa webere kwena mwe bantu bandi ububwafya bwandi inamba tu mulemona ni nenchitire ebwa ume nomate kwamba okuyabula ile namba tu wayashinga omuntu umbi amala yambushu wa mushinga wamba nokumusonta ati eulengere ala we mwaume niwe inamba tu tumwene niwe ochaire te tuambe kokulabe pesha bambi ukwe bateba chaire abantu abengi mu Zambia balefana ngoku kuteka kofe nangu 1 hour nomba iwelesa kupela 5 years instead ya kuteka wamba kokula sonta abantu bambi ateba chaire na ifo tusumine mwewa nandi tusumine okwebati yo mkwai chachine iyi economic issue tukwete mu Zambia is because of one Hakainde Hichilema. tusumine okwebati 20 kwacha to $1 is because of haka inde hichilema. Tusumine okwebati this declining iyo tuwatampa in terms of GDP and gross national product is because of haka inde hichilema. Nga buli obwawo myokushipa okwakobati chibe nga fyakusanga nishi fyakusanga kulipi tusuminati yongwaye tuambe fyokusonta ni mwe muleteka ni mwe mulipo since 2011 ni mwe mwabapo nga twala sonta shani umuntu ushabapo ushateka ate ulengele ululupato no mufimbila ulupato ulwakamamo na menshi lupato olu nga nifinish vimbi elo lesa tafuaya lufiengo lufiengo mule mufienga nomba ndemulandirako tekobati nali mutemwa ndemulandirako fye bantu ine life yandi kulandira kwa balanda okuwafuirisha kwa bantu bali abaletitikisha na lungu inenga mwamutikisha ati yo lungu waku Rwanda na ngulungu waku Malawi ndamulandirako jebere yo lekeni okumutikisha lungu nangu alepa filia waku chipata efyo ndanda jebere nangu balungu balepa ulya musango bena chipata bakupeta oke tete mubabwekeshemo ku Malawi yo ilyo guys kotata mpiro omulomolo wako bati balungu bena Malawi na ali balandira ko balungu nebo nati nangula mubamona filyo butali balungu bena peta oke ndabalandira nomba ilyo mwamba kokutitikisho yumuntu church ati eulengele economy tukwete tulabeko fye mwe nandi tulabeko tui mwafuirisha tui mulandirako imwe mubule mwipaye tulabeko fye kwatita tule umfwa tusumine mubepe abayiche misepela mushibepe okobati niye chechi walengere tuikalefye iyo company mulela ndapo ku Livingstone company fetu amonapo after privatization teve vile ati royo shani uko Livingstone ku Livingstone ayambya ma company aba bantu bambi bale chitanga bashita when they buy of these companies bashita fina ma companies bale sampuisha Vashta ZCBC umfonefyo varechta bakerenka nga vashta ZCBC instead of operating a store bena kubula malata basampuisha ama cables mu ZCBC basampuisha bashitisha bapanga koka a little margin yasho bachitire spend nga bashita ka company efyarechtika nomba inefyo ngufuire fyako wati ilya company yechechi bafuirishe ba government kusha ku Livingstone na lelo it is still providing jobs nomba tube pushe balungu bali ni ba chairperson of the negotiating team ya Kembe Cold Storage twepena kaidi ushe Kembe Cold Storage ilipi ni bani bashitishe mwebo bali sampuisha yangu tata mai bali sampuisha bashita pa mtengo unono instead ya kuchita run business iyo mkwai bachita shani baya sampuisha afebuli company fya yako batama company after bashitisha fya londoloka ya ku Livingstone iyo twamfwa kwa THH ali kumyako na kuisa kumbi na hotel Intercontinental so konsoko twamfuate checha akumya fira londoloke fintu ingombe shako shirekula amayanda yakwe alekula tata mpiro kukula kwa kalingalinge kwa hata mpiro kukula enganda kwa kalingalinga abena na wakwibebere iwe church kale baishibana ka mali mu classimo kale baishibana so you youths do not be deceived ababantu abakale baishibana so nomba church kuyatambo kutampira kuiso kukula kwa kalingalinga aba nankwe bamuseka bati iwe nga manonsha yakumushi ayakoba ati instead yakukula ko kumtown iwo ayakula kwa kalingalinga kombona efe bale museka bena na wako echechebere yomkwai nangu kayanda akakwa kalingalinga kayanda kandi efe tumfiro ko bati kuli ukufuma kuliriye nganda yako kalingalinga nomba awe akula nefuma yande fikulu boba tv fyako batala bwafya sana echeche shiremulandira ko iyo ndefwa yo ndemulandira ko bati muleka okumunyantirira nga imwe tulangeni ifyo mumkwete tumone nombo yoko bati aikata kuzambezi sani kulya zambezi sani fyalondoloka na erodi nenga mwayako ku Livingstone hotel number 1 na abasungu eko baya go muye mchecking ati bushaba sungu mwipushe Google at Google tulondolwereko bushaba sungu nga bafuma kuno Canada baleya ku Livingstone ni hotel onshibaya kona baleya ku Zambia ni ilya ine Royal Livingstone eko baya fyalilondoloka Intercontinental fyalilondoloka tonso tuma company HHR negotiating chairman tulemoneka kwati twalilondoloka nombo tuma company imwe mwaiketeko mwali sampuisha tonse and so kwambo kubepa giving the impression ukobati suddenly abantu balira bako yo tatwala bako tatwala bako so nomba ngachakutira chachino kobati chachine HHR ko involved kuri ile hotel kwena in 30 years in 20 years since 1998 to the present that hotel is still operating and providing jobs ngarakutira ariko involved kwena kuri ile hotel nishi mwaumemwe eba kateka balefu waiko kuteka bapala kofilia shireranda ati mumuvotere nderanda taba apala kofilia not kateka wa masampo kutuwa bashani kateka we wa masampo you see nakuchiwe mpala there was difference between aba makwebo naba masampo aba masampo bakwebo ati umuntu fine asa mwonekera vepachiwe mpala market nakwata masampo ya balo webere we mwaume yafuma koise talero ndolola bwino amasampo bapusana naba makwebo business people so nombo bwafya wako wati balungu amasampo bwafya bwabapo kanshi mweta mwamona kanshi mubepushe tubuli ama company balungu bashitishe elo tubuli na ama company HHR shitishe under privatization epela tupishe no yumulandu pesa pamusula okupisha chibemba tensere okupisha omulandu pamusula kuya direct and deal with the issue eliash okupisha omulandu pamusula chibemba tensere yo chibemba evyo tuchitefe tubula ama documents yonsa ya privatization tumone bwino abashitishe chinibani tumone efyo ama company chimukonde kwati ndebweke shapo of morphine mama kwati ndebweke shapo of morphine balungu nabo bene was negotiating chairman for Kembe Storage bali sampuisha takwa befya bako nothing ero nombalero tuisa mukupato wakaere feel like the backfire anyway let's leave that Pastor Jack Sakala chibemba ainu Sakala okupisha omulandu pamusula chibemba meaning you've got to speak directly. You don't beat about the bush. Mwalanda. Pakuwa tumulandu wachitashani wapita bwino. Efechite. Let's see. Ama sampo nakabwa lala disaster for failure. That's exactly what is happening. Ama sampo. Too much ama sampo. Because you are running an economy without the future in mind. Imamlei monafia. What is happening now? That is exactly what is happening. What is in need for them today? Sample for starter, exactly. Ever chirikange at ni starter. Alevo afeku kuwata moka starter. So kuchite fifine. That is the problem that is there. And Zambians are awake to these realities. We've seen several ministers. Now, let me address myself to these ministers. Okay. There are some people who are saying, Munsha, be general. Don't be personal. Everywhere, don't be personal. So when we are talking about this issue, atinende landa fie in a general manner, so like a lawyer, like the way lawyers do, because lawyers to alitimwet general filia taulumbuido muntu alanda vet because mulando kulumbulo muntu yomkwai na la lumbula. Privatization. First of all, the first one is Brian Mushimba. We select status chimo pa Facebook icha kwa chile chita confused. But then about what used to happen in ZCCM. Now, I need to address what I call Kaunda's children. Efyom beta. Beta ti Kaunda's children. Kaunda's children refers to a group of our population that benefited from Kaunda's free things. Okay? Now, a person like me would qualify a little bit because when I began school in 1985, Pampezeni Park Primary School in Chipata in 1985, grade 1, and change of government in about 1990. So I went to secondary school under Chiluba. So, okay. So we received some free books, grade 1 and grade 2, from Kenneth Kaunda Foundation. Okay, but I'm not really there, so I don't really qualify. But Abadi, particularly that went to secondary school, muma 70s, nama 80s. And they went to free universities. A lot of things were free. I call them Kaunda's children. They are very defensive of the Kaunda's economic model. Abashailoka. Extremely defensive of Kenneth Kaunda's economic model. But I think they owe Zambians an apology, first of all. Here is the reason. There is very little awareness from Kaunda's children about the fact that when Kaunda was providing free things to them, Kaunda was mortgaging the future that was going to come. As a result, by the time that Kaunda had given free things to that generation, when we came in the 90s, Zambia's debt was so big that it could not be sustained. That's why we, the second generation, forever 90s, that grew up in the 90s, we suffered a lot. We suffered a lot because Chiluba introduced drastic measures that had to contain the kind of economic mismanagement that had taken place in order to provide for Kaunda's children, that generation. So number Brian Mushimba, because he went to free ZCCM schools, somehow we must return back to the ZCCM schools. Brian Mushimba is mistaken because if we brought back the ZCCM model into Zambia today, we are short-changing Zambia's future. Because Kaunda was not, the economy was not producing under Kaunda. It was losing money. The free things that Kaunda was providing to his children, like Brian Mushimba, they were borrowed. Everything was borrowed. Our GDP was extremely low. We had no tax base in which to provide those things. No Chiluba atampa kuchita build under very difficult circumstances. If one for kulipila for grade 7 exams and grade 9 exams, imagine. A grade 9 exam, so you paid for exam fees. I, in fact, delayed to pay for my exam fees in grade 9. I was almost disqualified from writing grade 9 exams because I had not paid grade 9 exam fees. I was just saved by an uncle in Lusaka. You know, I went for holidays. He gave me some money and I paid in June. Very late, I paid grade 9 exams. But that kind of sacrifice ensured that somehow our economy and our GDP started going up. Elo nomba. Some, it's not everyone. Some of Kaunda's children, they have realized that, no, there was a mistake with that model. Elonomba actually benefit from free things that should change our future. Based on that they want to go back to Kaunda's days. You can go back. Iwengole for wekela kudi Kaunda days. Oka wekelemo weka. Omfa mushimba. Uka wekelemo weka. To back to Kaunda days. As far as this generation is concerned, it wants to build on the successes of a liberal economy, so that we move forward and we continue growing our economy. So to state-owned enterprises, please go ahead. But how can you have exposed individuals like Brian Mushimba, extremely exposed, having lived in the West, in the diaspora, very highly educated, but thinking like everyone else who is not educated in the PF. Nishi skulu tajafu idisha. Munjebeko. That no, I shouldn't be personal. Number they are persons, they are human beings. So it's personalized. Ni muchta address Brian Mushimbo. My economic models dapo. They are going to destroy our economy. So to irandapo, they stuff address abantu for the general. That is the issue that we are facing currently. Yakobateni minister kui mafia amba fyo kusabaira without economic direction. If you can show a minister, minister of transport, and what happens at transport with RTA? It is alleged to cover it while he was minister there. Something, they stole contracts, yama speed cameras. Something happened there. Is it that they stole or they're alleged to have stolen or something like that? I'm a TV. Is it TV? If my cameras, if your contracts, authorities essay. So kanshi theft in PF is for the least educated as well as the well educated. It's because of privatization, so they want to go back to Kaunda's days. Ala imova mushimba mweka. As far as this generation of young people is concerned, they want to look to the future. They want a leadership that inspires their confidence. That is what is happening here. Shirankalipa. Ngadachi kukalipa. No wewe ne chambe ko kukalipa. Pantu teti. Ichalo le sami pela. Bonse tatwa ishiboko twali. Bambi twali kuluba Lunda Empire, bambi bali kushaka the Zulu, bambi bali kumakololo, twasaisa. God puts us in one country. Elo nomba tuamba kukufichita mismanage. Mlandu wama politics. And lack of common sense. Elo nomba tiyo tuilanda po. Yomkwai, twalalanda po. CJ. Lete Riash, amutishan.
Yes, Mosha. Yes, I think if I'm fishing, it would be terrible for us to try to revert back to the Kaunda days. I mean, the world is evolving, so we need to move forward and look at a different way of handling our country. And privatization is one issue I think that we should just, in a way, forgo. We understand that, yes, things were not done accordingly, but we should focus on what is important. What are the issues concerning the economy today, the Kwacha? How can we become more productive in terms of agriculture and all that? Than focusing on things that are not useless. It is going to backfire. A lot of people are involved in the issue of privatization. Robert John has done a very good dissertation, a PhD for the University of Leeds. That was presented in 1999 on the state enterprise and privatization in Zambia between 1968 and 1998. And in there, it gives a lot of points why privatization had to take place I was listening to a certain gentleman who was talking about the issue of Massa Batteries. I mean, Massa Batteries was a failing company from the start. And so there was no option but to liquidate it. Actually, it had to go through liquidation. And there are these people who speak. One question that we should actually ask is, why were people like Ronald Pence actually fired? That's a question that people are not asking. And why were certain people made to replace Ronald Pence thereafter? And this is one argument that if you check the dissertation by John Craig, that is one argument that he gives on page 191 as to why a certain madam had to become a finance minister, because she seemed to support the president of the day and didn't go with what Ronald Pence was suggesting. So I think it is quite a very hot issue too.
Thank you very much, CJ. CJ has data. Okutuletela data from that dissertation. CJ, please, could you please type the name of the dissertation, please? Just type the name of the dissertation so that we can go and search for it and read it. It's very important. Yeah, it's very important. Thank you so much for all those insights. That is the issue that is going on. Chilufia.
Hello, Bamusha. Valishani Mukai.
Wino mkwai. Imo ba Chilufia.
Mukai.
Chinaja family yes.
Alaine. Tulivamo bene mukwai. Once if naba ku southwestern, naba ku southern. Tulivamo bene. One Zambia, one people. Echo natumina mukwai. Natumina kopa platform yenu. I'm not campaigning or anything, but I'm encouraging Zambians to be in tune with what is going on.
Yeah.
Especially imisepela. Mwe youth. Be in tune mule for information since tamwaliko ku privatization. Be in tune, get involved, be door to door, knock on every door. We have to change the direction where this country is being taken to. Icha number 2 mkwai. Balela ndokwati privatization. Why are we starting from there? Why can't we start from 48 houses? Nenjinga shiresha 700. Njinga sha 700. Njinga kunoni $100. Why when I shtesha mteng? Elo uyowine kapokola baleshtide njinge. Which pavement is he going to ride that bicycle? Because there are no pavements.
Yeah.
So mkwai babe pelefye. Elo chimbina la miwa wa musha. Batata bali pachikola secondary school. Ba kulire kumwenu kukwine kuchingoloko. So when you speak, I hear a lot of things efe now mfakuli batata. Ngumfu efe kwa kalimodiri dali mwa 80s nishira tuika la tuleo ntemba ola mumpepo vale tushimikire fya kuchikola na kuchingola. So abantu, we have to be very in tune to protect our country. Our forefathers, a lot of them died. My own father, he was a youth mobilizer. Way back before independence, he was expelled from Chikola Secondary School. He was re-entered into another school and he graduated from 5. Italy because he was a threat. So I grew up under those
Mkwai, thank you. Thank you very much, Bachilufia Westu. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ain Bachilufia. Thank you. Okay, bye. I can see Honorable Kaoma Chomba says, I wish I could add a comment. Too much malice. Wait a moment. Just add any comment. You are free. This is a free. Ebuafia wemwa umechomba kaoma chomba wewa kweso. Ebuafia okwete webo. This is an open forum. That I wish I could add a comment or two. It's open. So why should you be wishing? Alevikapo comment yobetumon. That's the kind of malice. Which malice? This is an open forum. No boafia budipo. It's the government of President Lungu. PF government. But it's privatization that is a problem. How can privatization be a problem? Your government is saying that now bakula infrastructure. But infrastructure, all these things that has been built, claimed to be built around the country, and they've not helped the Kwacha. You know why? It's because the Chinese are extremely clever. So the Chinese offer you all these loans to go and build all these hospitals around the country. And in the end, you're going to be owing them more money. So when the budget is presented, this week apparently, Kuala presentation of the budget, you know what will be in that budget? Over half of that budget will be servicing Chinese loans. One. Secondly, it will be servicing the euro bonds that was borrowed when President Michael Sata was sick. That is what it is. So nomba imweba kaoma chomba muise mungu tutinia ukweba ati there is too much malice. Malice kwisa. Where is the malice? If you were angry at President Lungu, who has mismanaged this economy, I think Tuachitako understand that yo mwakalipa. No, mulekalipira ine. I'm not responsible for the 20 kwacha to $1. I'm not responsible for the billions of dollars that have been borrowed from China. I'm not responsible for the roads. Since 1964, mwakongolama billions. Every day you are working on the same road over and over again. Nishi, mupanga shani misebo. Those are the things that you should call malice. Nomba ine nemu inefe independent, nemulanda. Amo by my independent. Ubunke. Alone. Elo imweba kao machomba, muise mukuntinia. Eyo, vachomba kaoma, tuale ni ichintinia kuliabo bene. Not kuno iyo. If you want to help build this country's economy, you are in an extremely better position. Go ahead and do it. Do it. Okay? But if you are mukuchita intimidate citizens of our country, ukutwitira sana mpepo, kwati katuishi, eyo mkwai, if you fiavupuva, tuwafikana. Mwachepa sana baka oma wesu. But you are not my target. Inechomba kaoma. You are not my target. Te yuendelanda. Iwoli munandi. Oli muntu munandi. Onde the target. Nikateka adipo. Nentungulu shishakwe. Ishireiba. Necho kateka teta achitire aktu kushtamfye chintungulu shinicho. Vanwanankwe. Varianankwe. No kuiva kuine veva nankwe. Patriotic Front cadres are you cadres, I'm a cadre. Na win, obvious. So number, we are just cadres. Ture churi la mofie, mudi mismanagement yama leaders baba Patriotic Front. Evo inendech the target. Number imweba honorable kaomba choma. Nga mwaimona kwa nakarimona imwe you are part of the PF top brass. Inshino, we ne the problem with you. But I have no problem with my fellow citizens, people from Luapula, people from Mongo, from Chipata, from Kabwe, from Pika, all these ordinary people that are suffering because of the mismanagement of the Zambian economy. But because of mismanagement. Who are you? We know you have been promised a job by a failed party. Vincent Chanda, which one? Are you talking to me or you're talking to someone else? Or you're talking to Chomba Kaoma? Because in Shimona, we know sometimes whether you are responding to me or to someone else. Yo inendala ndanjira kofi abalanda. Ebo ndandira kofi epera. Ndandira kofi abalanda. No one has promised me job. Na ikwada kwa company yoko nchita run. Akanon. Isabel, I think on the issue, there is nothing wrong with that. Roads have to be maintained. We see that here in other countries. That is how you keep old infrastructure intact. However, we should look at investing in other roads. I'm tired of people complaining and criticizing. What are you doing as citizens? Tell me how you are investing into the country as individuals and what you have done to change even the villages you lived in. Na mukalipa by Isabel Mukanda Shamambo. Yoko ena mwakalipa. Nomba inete inendengere ukweba $1 ive 20 kwacha. Usheni neo? Ngana mukalipa awe ni chachi nekuti mwakalipa. Nomba, you are angry at the wrong person. I'm not the one who has borrowed billions from China. So wobukali mubuchite direct, not at me. Mubuchite direct at the Patriotic Front leaders. Ebo muchite, ebo mule, you hold them to account, not me. Nemulanda mnalisaine po those billions ayo vaivire for Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. No. Did I sign for any money to build roads? No. Did I buy the 48 fire trucks at $1 million each? No. Omba baliaba ibire mwabasha mwaisa mukuntukaine on my timeline. Enendela ndafyoko bati we need clear common sense solutions to our economic problems. Nene mwakoselapo. Ngabare iba nishta mukosele pokanshi. Imumulea ndati we are not doing enough. Nga imwe. Nifinshi mlechta. Isabel. I'm not angry at you. You are the speaker. Mkwaiba Isabella. Shidemi sebo muiranda nokulanda tiyo mkwai we maintain them. Those are not roads. But stafe babu lo mchanga. Basa bulo mchanga. Basa sankanya neloba. Ero mbaba bika po manenekela abati musebo. Efi chitike efi akwebate. Chijabata mpoko pango musebo. Idio tabala apuisha. Mwiranda na pali maintenance yo wa Isabella. Idio musebo tabala apuisha okupanga. Kulioko bata mpiri okupanga kwa bashani kwa befirindi. Ama bohos. Umusebo wale panga. Kanshi, the difference is that if you bachitrefi akwebate. Na badia bai bempia sha musebo. Ero mbababula fya manenekela bapisha pelo batu musebo. Efi chitika. Lumumba Road yo baipanga lelo mairwe firindi. Ala mweba. Kanshi tuilanda po. Bakwetu. Tuilanda po yo. Tulabeko fiat yo mkwai. It's not important. Ife tulemona. Lumumba Road. Billions. Balantilo kubati it was a billion. Was it a billion? How much was it Lumumba Road? 500 million or 200 billion. Impieshi ingisana. Lumumba Road. Bapango musebo. Before tabala fika pakatu musebo ifirindi. Potholes and boreholes. Lumumba Road. A stretch of 5 kilometers. Or is it 6 kilometers? No mbaba Isabella. Mwaisa mkulanda ati yon mkwa ininende lufianya. Ngan kulufianya nshina lufianya. Since 1964, Omusebo from Lusaka to Ndola, 300 kilometers. Dionse. It's under maintenance. From Lusaka to Livingston. Impiama billions yonsena muchita boro bueno. No, but why can't we make that road from Lusaka to Livingston straightforward? Not if you are to kulandalanda makona. No. Straightforward. Umusebo bueno. If it's dual carriageway from Lusaka to Livingston. Nga change chashu. Recent data number kwa ishiru fumakareka picture baile kopa. Paka fiwe. Ni paka fiwe 10 pai. Paliana mazaboka 10 pai. Atiture pango musebo. Mweba ume. You've borrowed all these billions from China. Shaya kui. At Shaya to build ama hospitals kushangombo. And that's how China is playing on naive leaders. Because if China lends you 1 billion, it's an asset to them because they know that anytime they can come and recall that loan. Then in their balance sheet, balifya wino. Nomba ni mweba le kongola. Atiyo kuleni ifima clinics, vami perem pia. Mwakula. And yet, 5 years from now, you are not going to have enough tax revenue to pay nurses. Elo nomba ba Isabella, muise mukuntoka nebo ati nende ngere. Nga nalenga findo. Nindo nalenga nebo. Ubobu kali mukwete, usendeni, utwalini kuntungulusha bareteka. Inobu kali nkwete. Nde uchi direct kubareteka. nomba imwe muise mulete obukali mubuchite direct kudine. Eoba Isabella nami kanina. Nevo nami kanina ichipesha man. Chanda Chilufia. Isabella, I have a lot to say, but please do not take it personally. No. What do you mean, do not take it personally? What do you mean, do not take it personally? I shouldn't take it personally. Finji person. Emwe ni mwe munje bere. Okwebati I'm not doing enough for Zambia. Nomba nde miebo kwebati bobukali mukwete, mubusende, mububike bwino. Nokupukuta bwino obukali mukwete. Muye tulira Edgar Chagwa Lungu euleteka nokwiba euleiva mismanagement eulechita mismanagement na $1 to 20 kwacha ni Edgar Lungu teine. Simon Mulenga kaya finshi twalufyania ukutekwa so wafi. Sometimes people have shallow thinking. This is the reason cannot develop. The mind which cannot analyze issues and reason accordingly. Ebo afya bulipo. Sakuimba. Amutishan. Tamulipo. Wise man.
Yes, Mr. Mushna. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you? I'm very well. Yes.
Yeah, I think just to assist the person who asked you what you are doing, you personally, I think you are giving us this platform just for you to give us this platform to discuss the issues which are affecting our country. I think you are doing enough. So I think for me, there's nothing to question you what you are doing. You have done what not even the president has done it before. If you can allow us to be engaging you, asking you questions, and you are responding, which even the president has failed to do, that is enough for me. So why even wasting time? The only thing I'm going to tell you, sir, is that don't waste your last bullet to a bed. Keep it for an elephant.
No, wise man, sometimes kuleta mwevifine, efilenga abantu kutamba. When you are telling people facts yeka, people are not interested. People love scandals. So by Isabella bakaya bantu besu. So otherwise people don't pay attention. Neine history yonse ndelondolo abantu tabakomfo. Nombanga bamfoko bati tulete oshanya na ba Isabella. Ero abantu bamfo bwino nokutamba batamba.
Okay, the problem is that you are big. So it's like me, I'm nothing. Me, I'm nothing. I want to make a name through interaction with you, you see. So it's better
I forget
educate us the way you have been educating us all along. And then me, I've been following you, keen interest, and I've been educated when you were on movie TV. That's why always when you are online, I'm always online as well, just to hear your counsel and everything. So for me, I'm learning a lot from that. What you were saying about borrowing money from China, here in Kabwe it is happening, where you find an MP go and build a school. 3 days this school happen. That is a school. What is he trying to do? Honorable Nguruve recently built a school 3 days. They are in the hurry for them to show that they are working so that they can vote them into power, but they're not in the hurry to develop this town. And I'm surprised that every time when they want to build something, Bakura gave 10, but Amanganda Wakula upstairs. So me, I wonder, why do you differ government panga fe na malata yaka vi mwafimba mwafunya kwa ma but mwamkule vintu fye nimwe you are building them ifile machinga na time upo tuleendera
Walls of Jericho. Why?
Imagine if you see what is happening in Kabwe, it's a shame. But I think keep it up, keep this work, and may Lord bless you with more strength so that we can keep on engaging us, the youths of this country. I'm proud of following the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, wise man. Hey, Zambia has wise people. Okay, thank you very much. Sabo Imboela, okay, Pela, $1 to 20 kwacha is very painful. It's extremely painful. Yeah. But of course, it's good for people in the diaspora. It's good for people in the diaspora. So all of you people in the diaspora, $10, it's 200 kwacha. You don't know how much that will be. That will help Abantu. So let's do something. But Saboy, thanks for that. Yeah. Gift Banda, please, Mr. Munsha, kindly tell the guy who called first to tell us the title of the book, or maybe the link, so that we can read it well. CJ, we need the link. CJ, are you there? CJ.
Yes, Musha, I'm here.
Yes. So your book is very popular here. Could you kindly type it in the comments so that people can try to follow that?
Sure, I did, but I'm going to retype it again.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do that. It's actually State Enterprise and Privatization in Zambia, 1968 to 1998 by John Robert. So I'll retype it anyway. I'll retype.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, CJ, and I hope Banda Gift is helped with that book. Very important. I also do quite a lot of reading on these issues. It's important. Philip Gausi, Council Elias Munsha. Hey, thank you. Mary is just saying that he has already done. He has shared the name of the book, and there are several I think dissertations that have been written on the privatization program, and so we can do very well to follow that. Okay, thank you very much. I think we've got to end here. This is 1 hour 11 minutes of hot discussions. Thank you so much for your attention. We'll be back sometime. We don't know very well when, but maybe tomorrow, maybe another day. We don't know. We'll just play it by the ear. But let's continue. Register to vote as soon as you can. Encourage others to register as voters. If you don't have an NRC, please make sure that you obtain one. I know that mobile registration has been restricted to Southern Province because apparently if my machine had nothing to go bomba. So mobile registration, fiale bomba kulwa pula na northern. Fiale bomba, fia bomba. Chile fia sa chitafe crossover into Lusaka at fiafua. Anapoafe mwandin. One Zambia, one nation at fiafua. So Western Province, Southern Province, and Lusaka rural. At takwabe mobile exercise. Ikatampa late. Because if my machine enough before. It's pretty sad. Anyway, even if there is no mobile registration, the regular registration is still there. So please go and obtain your NRCs, go and register as voters and make a difference. I think that is the way to go. This is our page. Like us, Elias Munsha Facebook page. Subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And then if you break down some of the things that I've talked about today, show me, okay, send me a clip if you found certain content pretty good. Nombo bwatu muyafye bali kayaka clip wakakuba ndela nde chibemba eko mwako paka lyakene. No, kuchitako a little bit broader so that abantu bakwata context, so that abantu bejire ati yo Munsha, iwe Reverend Munsha wachira atukana. No, ayin. Anyway, so let's do that. Subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, share with as many people as possible. Let us all share in this passion we have. It's our country, it's our nation, and so let us all do what we can to see that our country develops. Thank you very much. It's been 1 hour 15 minutes. I've got to sign off and say good night and good afternoon, America and Canada and Calgary. As for Chiwempala, na bwira kulala nomba. Okay, good night. Thank you.